guys, and welcome to module number 1 of the Rich Coach course. I am so excited to have you here. This module is so fucking powerful. We're going to be talking all about changing our money story to really take our relationship with money, our capacity to receive money, and to create money to the next level. So the reason why we start with this module is because this is the base for everything, not only for your coaching business, but just your relationship with money in general, right? Your relationship with wealth, your relationship to being able to create that lifestyle that you want, being able to serve at the level that you want to serve. All of that we're going to be talking about today. As you know, everything in life is 80% mindset and 80% mindset and 20% strategy. This is why I'm putting so much emphasis, and we have 8 modules in this course, and more than half are about mindset, because truly, once you learn how to master this, you're going to be able to take your relationship with money to the next level. So what we're going to do in this module is that we're going to make a pause in our lives, and we're going to analyze our present, our past, and our future going forward with our relationship with money. We're going to see where those beliefs came from. We're going to rewrite that shit out. And we're going to make this the most transformative moment you've had consciousness-wise in your relationship with money. So I have my other computer here, and I'm just going to be looking at some notes sometime because I want to make sure that you guys get it all, because I have so much stuff to share. So the first thing I want to share with you guys is, if there is something that you want, as we obviously do, we always are going to be wanting something more. We're always going to be wanting a next level. That's just part of our human nature, to keep excelling, to keep excelling, to keep excelling. And when I say excelling, I mean getting to that next level. When we have that 20K month, 30K month, when we get that new house, when we travel in first class, when we get to donate $50,000, whatever it is, I don't care. We're always going to be wanting more and more and more. And the fact that we don't have that right now means that there is some mindset work to do. For sure, there's some resistance, there's some beliefs that need to be evaluated and changed. That's why, for example, if you're starting your coaching business and you want a client, but that client's not there, there's nothing wrong with that, but that means that there is a belief to work on, okay? If not, if your mindset was perfect on the subject, you would be having clients and clients and clients rolling and throwing their credit cards at you over and over and over again. Perfectly fine, no worries at all. But what I also want you to know is that that same statement, that same fact that you want something and you don't have it just yet, means that there's some mindset work to do. I also want you to know that that same statement means that if you want something, then it's available for you, because you wouldn't be able to imagine or desire something that wouldn't be an immediate availability for you. Okay, and that is so, so, so important, because so many people come to me and they tell me, yeah, I want to launch my coaching business, but I need to get this done first, the website and the photo shoot and the logo. I need to find the perfect slogan and the perfect this. And it's like, you know what, that could all be true for sure. But the truth is, if you want that right now, then it is available for you today. Without the website, without the logo, without the slogan, without anything. And by the way, this doesn't mean that you're not professional. It just means that you are making yourself available for an easier way for the things you want to come to you, okay? So with that in mind, oh my gosh, I just saw that my computer's not charging. So give me 1 second, guys. Okay, that's it. Okay, so what I meant to say with that is, if you can picture those things, if you can picture, you launching your first program and people messaging you saying, I want to join, what's the payment plan, or how much is it, here's my credit card, I really, really want this, or having your next 5K cash month, or maintaining that 5K cash month because it feels difficult, like that is absolutely available for you, because God, universe, higher self, whatever you believe in, wouldn't give you a desire that is not yours to fulfill. And I need you to own that. I need you to really realize that, because the whole purpose of our existence is to be able to enjoy and impact others as much as we can. And here's the detail. we impact others when we are enjoying ourselves to the max, okay? Because when we're an example of what's possible, when we're an example of, hey, you actually can be rich without having to hustle, without having to sacrifice your family, without having to sacrifice and choose between, do I go to my kids' recital, ballet presentation, or do I stay home and work to make another $1,000? Like that type of stuff, when we choose to be an example and enjoy that, we impact so much because we break the fucking paradigm of what is possible. I just said paradigm. What I meant to say is paradigm, or you know what I mean. We break the fucking mold of what's possible. And our whole purpose is that. So, first thing I want you to know, from now on, all the ideas that you have, don't disregard them, okay? Don't think, oh yeah, well, I would love to travel to Disney right now and take my mom with me or whatever, or pay all my debt or whatever. But yeah, that's maybe just like a random idea or something I'll do like in 7 years or 3 or 4. Like what I want you to know is that the only reason you receive those downloads, the only reason you receive those ideas is because they're available for you right now. If not, you wouldn't receive them because again, I want you to know the universe is here to serve you. Again, just a disclaimer from now on. Anytime I say universe, I mean God, universe, higher self, whatever you believe in, okay? Is here to serve you. And if those ideas were not possible for you right now or available for you right now, you wouldn't even have them in the first place because it's just mean to give someone a desire that's not in their path to fulfill. So that is something that I want you to take full ownership of and truly understand that we are here to be supported by the universe while we enjoy and impact others doing our life-changing work, which is our coaching business, okay? But like I say, everything that I'm going to be sharing on this specific module right now is going to help you with everything when it comes to money, not only your coaching business. But yeah, this is some basics that I really wanted to touch on. And what we're going to do today is that we're going to acknowledge a little bit of where we're at, where we have been, and where we want to be. So we're going to be building all the steps as well as getting rid of everything that doesn't work anymore, okay? I'm going to be giving you my personal examples of what has happened in my life and how I have been able to also change my money story to be where I am today, okay? So the first thing that I wanted to take a look at is our present, okay? So maybe you're someone who's starting their coaching business. Maybe you have a 9 to 5 and this is just kind of like your side hustle. Or maybe you're someone who has been in business for months or years or weeks, but you're going all in and you're in just a position where you have been able to maintain yourself. You're having amazing income. It doesn't matter where you're at, okay? I don't want to give more examples about that because this is going to serve you no matter what stage you're in. I want you to ask yourself, what money behavior do you think is wrong and what money behavior do you think is right? For example, if I were to tell you that, whatever, you just watching someone and you know that they go to Starbucks every single day, they spend $5 a day. Do you think that's right or do you think that's wrong? Maybe you think, well, that's right, like if they have the money, go for it, right? And if it gets them in alignment, awesome, like go for it. But maybe you think, you know what, I actually think that's wrong because there's other coffee stores that are so much cheaper and you know what, that money could be saved. And you have to save everything that you can. That's the best thing that you can always do, save money, right? So I think it's wrong. Okay, so I want to give you a couple of examples and I want you to write this down. Of course, this is all homework for you guys. What do you think is wrong and what do you think is right? For example, extra spending, going shopping every month, going shopping for clothes just because you want to, or maybe being extremely I forgot the word in English, but like you save every single penny, you want to get every single offer, like you don't buy anything unless it's on a sale or like in a special discount. Like, do you think this is wrong? Do you think this is bad? Having a desire to have more money. Do you think this is wrong? Do you think this is bad? For example, having a desire to earn more than you currently earn. For some people, this is like, well, yeah, obvious, like I just want more money and I just kind of deserve more money because, again, with the same principle that we had at the beginning, if there's something that you want, then it's available for you and it's our job to be able to lock it in so we can receive it. But there's also other people, and I have been in this position as well, where you feel guilty of wanting more because it makes you feel that maybe you're ungrateful for what you have, and it could just make you look like you're ungrateful to God and the universe and to life because you have this amazing job that you struggled so hard to get, and now you want more. Like, who are you to want more? I want you to tell me how you feel if you're on Instagram and you saw someone sharing that their sweater cost $500. Like, is this wrong? Is this bad? And on the PDF, I'm gonna give you a bunch of examples, and I want you to tell me this is wrong, this is bad, and why. Okay, this is homework for you, obviously. People being humble, people never bragging about their success or like always being like, yeah, I'm hanging in there, but whatever. Is this wrong or is this bad? What I want you to know here, there's no right or wrong answer. Obviously, we're expanding. We're going to absolutely change our mindsets about this. But what I want you to know here is we're just taking a look. We're just being objective. We're just seeing where we're at. To be able to become rich coaches, you need to be fully honest of where I'm at. And I don't want you to kid yourself. I don't want you to say like, oh yeah, well, future me thinks that this is good and this is bad. Like, fuck that. I want you to tell me how you think right now, because that's what's going to make the difference on the steps that we take moving forward. So yeah, what you consider wrong, what you consider right. And I want you to ask yourself, like, who is someone that you look up to financially that maybe has a lifestyle that you want, that is able to afford things or donate in ways that you like? Maybe there's a coach or an influencer or just a speaker or someone, a public figure, or maybe someone in your family or your, close circle that you're like, man, I want to have that type of relationship with money, right? Who is that person? What qualities do they have that you like? For example, maybe right now you're in a situation where you don't have enough. That's quote unquote enough, because I don't believe in that, but enough to spoil yourself a little bit more. And they're always like being able to spoil I can't speak to that. Spoil their parents or their brothers, sisters, or like their husbands or themselves. Like, they're always like inviting other people, and it just feels so good. It's coming from a place of alignment. Like, you can just feel there's good energy, and that's something you'd like to do. Write it down. Like, being able to spoil more my family, or like show my affection, like taking financial care of my people, or whatever it is for you. What are qualities that you value in that person? Okay. Okay, and now a little bit aligned with the first part of what we did. I want you to ask yourself, like, what is a type of behavior that you condemn, that you like? Obviously, we did a little bit at the beginning of like what is right, what is wrong in your world right now. But what is the type of behavior that you condemn? Like, think about a person that you think is like the worst money manager in the whole fucking world. Like, you can literally, like, you're like, yeah, I'm not a money expert, but I just know that this person is doing it wrong because A, B, C, and D. And I want you to give me the reasons. Again, you're going to find this all in the PDF, so don't worry about it. What are those things? What are those things? Like, what do I do? How do I feel around money? How do I show up? How do I talk about money? And I'm going to give you my examples just now. So my example, my super example that I love, that I think is one of the persons that I look up to, is Amanda Frances, and also one of my coaches, Genevieve Rackham. And I love them. I love how they talk about money because they allow me to believe the part of me that keeps telling me that it's true, that I do get to have it all, because of their example and how they choose to be in a relationship with money, because they never say no to what they need, and they come from a place where you never have to choose. Okay, So you need to pay for expenses. Here's the money for expenses. But you know what? You want to get it. You want to go on a trip. You want to get a facial. You want to do whatever the fuck you want for leisure or for fun or for whatever. You also get to do that, and I love that because it expands the possibility of what's right or what's wrong. Even when you've hit millions and millions and millions of dollars, there's still people who think it's only right to invest. It's only right to spend money on this, let's call material things or fancy things or whatever things. If you have so much faith in this and this and that, whatever, you should only spend this little percentage on that. And I love that because they're not like that. They're like, fuck it, my desires are as much as important as my expenses. So I love that about them. And one person that I absolutely think is the worst money manager in the world. By the way, obviously when you're doing this, maybe someone closer to you when it comes to the money managing part, obviously everyone has a story. So we're coming from a place of compassion, but for the sake of the exercise, let's just analyze their actions, okay? We're not going behind the why and why they should be better. No. We're just looking at the actions for the sake of us understanding what we think is wrong and what we're not available for. This person for me is my mother, okay? My mother lost her house, her phone, her credit cards, her car. She's in ridiculous amounts of debt. And since I was 16 years old, I have been paying a lot of things for her. Even when we were living with her, we eventually ended up moving from my mom's house because it was just an unbearable situation, emotionally, financially, mentally. And she, anytime she talks about money, there's a victimhood around it, and she's very, I feel like that she doesn't respect money. She doesn't have like an intimate relationship with money, meaning she doesn't know her numbers. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know like how much is going to be left at the end of the month. So she's always like scared and running around. Like this scarcity is her best friend when it comes to money. And this type of crap is like, for me, it's like, this is where you have to say, Maki, I am no money expert, but this shit's just wrong. You know, like if every month you have to ask for your friends for money to be able to pay your rent, something going on. That person for me is my mom. So I would love if you guys could dig into this and just be really, really honest about why, okay? And now we're going to go into the past, okay? Everything that has unconsciously or consciously allowed us to have the mindset that we currently have and that we learned from our parents, society, friends, whatever it is, one way or another, we now think is right or wrong. So I want you to go back to, let's see. I want you to go back to your childhood and your teenagehood. Okay, let's do both of this exercise because maybe some may just bring more things up than other, and that's perfectly fine, okay? I want you to think about what you heard your parents say about money. What do you heard your dad say? What do you heard your mom say? What do you heard your grandparents say? What do you heard your siblings say? What do you heard your uncles say? And I just want you to take a minute. If you need to pause the module, pause it for sure. But take a minute and truly think about it. Like, what did my parents say about money? I'm gonna give you many examples of my own life. For example, one thing that I heard all my life growing up is, from my dad. My dad was the sole provider for the family. My mom also worked, but my dad has been the most stable of them. They're divorced, but growing up, it was always like, you need to value this because this cost me so much, so much hard work. I'm breaking my back for you. I'm breaking my back for you. I'm breaking my back for you. I'm breaking my back for you, to the point that I learned to suppress my desires because I felt guilty for wanting something because I knew that maybe it was not in the capacity financially of my parents to get it, and they were already breaking their backs for me. So I felt guilty of having a desire that would involve money, which, by the way, in this world, almost everything, obviously emotional affection and all that stuff for sure. But, maybe all my friends had like a new Kipling bag and I didn't. And I would like shut my mouth because I felt guilty. And there's nothing wrong with wanting a coupon back. They could have very well as well said, you know what, we're just not going to do it. But I heard that so much. I heard it costing me so much. I'm working Monday to Sunday, sorry, from since the sun comes up till the sun comes down. Like, it's costing me so much, so hard. And he wouldn't say this in a way to make us feel guilty, but I understand that in his attempt was for making us value things, right? So every time that something broke down, he would get really, really mad because, of course, it cost him a lot of money. And it was, again, this, I'm breaking my back for you. I break my back for you guys to go to an amazing school, to go to an amazing university, to go to your ballet classes, blah, 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 whatever. And this belief got stuck into me. And what I unconsciously or consciously got from this is making money is hard. To make money, you have to break your back. To make money, you have to really hustle. Like, easy money, like, no, you're doing something wrong, right? So that's one of the things I learned for sure. My mom, one thing I learned, obviously, like I share with you, total disconnection from the real world, always scarcity. I never felt safe financially with my mother, right? So I always had like a pressure on being able to, well, how am I going to do this? I need to get another job. I was in school and I was like, how am I going to do this? I get another job, because I felt so guilty that I didn't even want to tell my dad, who was already paying like the child support every month to my mom, but it wasn't enough, or my mom misused it. I felt so guilty that there wasn't enough, that before telling my dad that we needed more money or that my mom was not managing correctly, I would go ahead and get a job, because I felt so guilty about, he's already breaking his back, money's so hard to make, all that stuff, right? So I want you to take a minute and really think about, maybe on some level you've had an experience like this where X years later you are still on the same boat when it comes to money and our desires, right? One good thing, one amazing thing that I did learn from my dad, he always told me, and anything I wanted, he always told me, okay, you get to have that, but you have to work for it. I remember when I was in 6th grade, I wanted a True Ceramic Pro, which is her iron. And they were like, this TV shopping things and whatever. And so he said, you want it perfect. I'll put half of the money for it. And so what I did is that I did a little raffle when I was 6 years old. I was in 6th grade for an iPod. At those times, it was not even like black or white. It was like copper and black. Like, it was super old. Anyways, and I got it. Then later on, I wanted to buy a Mac computer, an Apple computer. We never had an Apple computer in my house. And I wanted one so bad. I wanted. And again, he said, you know what? You want it? Perfect. I will give you $200. That's the same amount I gave your sister. She bought this Toshiba. It's amazing. If you want the Toshiba, you'll just have to put 100. But I wanted the Mac, and it was like I had made $1,000. So what I did is that I started selling candy. I started doing homework for my classmates. I started like baking. I did a bunch of stuff. Then later on, I wanted to go to a leadership camp in San Diego. Again, it was the year of my sister's quinceañeras. So my dad was like, sorry, I can't pay, right? I need to pay for her birthday thing, quinceaños, and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, perfect. So I did another raffle. And that was for sure one good example that marked me, because I learned that I actually could get what I wanted no matter my age. And it could be fun, and I could do it my way, which was really important. So this is just like a positive example. But I want you to take a minute and also think outside of your primary growth circle, meaning more than your mom and your dad. Maybe you had an aunt, and anytime that you were with her, she would always splurge, and you would feel so comfortable talking about wanting that Tiffany's bracelet or that thing that you knew you couldn't speak with your parents because maybe you felt guilty, or maybe you felt like, who am I to talk about that stuff? I want you to look at those different perspectives, okay? I had a very, very, very clear example where once I went to this friend's house, we were doing like a homework or whatever, and the mom came in and she was like, guys, what do you want to eat? Like, here's a credit card, order whatever you want. And all I thought was, wow, I would love if I was able to do that. I would love if my family was in an environment where we could just, what do you want? Yeah, you get to have it. And that impacted me so much. I think I was like 7 years old or something like that. But it was something outside of my primary, like growth circle that really was like, wow, other people spend money in different ways. So when you think about it, think about people outside of your core primary growth circle, examples that marked you, okay? And that moment, maybe you thought like it was right or it was wrong, whatever, it doesn't matter. I want you to think about it. Your grandma, if you're Latin like me, a lot of the times our grandmas were the ones that gave us like a little bit of money because our parents gave us like not a lot. Not saying that every Latin family is like that, but my family, my grandma was the one who spoiled the fuck out of us. Anytime that we needed anything, she would go ahead and, what do you need? Here you go. Such an angel. Okay, perfect. So I want to give you guys one other and deeper example because this is where shit gets difficult. Okay. So when I turned 18, I fell in love with a guy. He lived in San Diego, and being in that relationship met every single one of my needs. I was going through a really hard time with my family. So what I did is I got in a bunch of debt. I was flying out to see him as often as I could. Till the point later on, other debts. We broke up, etc., that I was 21 years old and I had $13K in debt. And one thing that my dad told me since very early on was that is the worst thing that you could have. If you have a debt, you're worse than a criminal. If you have a debt, you're like a murderer. And one thing that he ingrained on me, I'm sorry, I don't want to say he ingrained on me because he didn't do anything. He was just sharing his experience, and I consciously decided that I was going to ingrain that shit. Was that was the worst thing you could have. You could literally beat other people up and insult other people and whatever, and that was still not as bad as having that. And one day he told me, if you could sell your mom and me, you would, just to make money, just to get, you don't care about your debt, you don't care about anyone. I don't know how you sleep at night knowing that you have this debt. So what happened? Around that time, I had started my coaching business and I wanted to invest. I was in debt. Of course, I was in debt. And when I shared with him about it, I said, I want to start this. And I want to, instead of, keep paying my normal loans, my payments to, clear this debt up, I want to take a pause and invest in this. I really think that I'm going to be able to pay my debt so much faster. I wanted to invest in my first business coach to help me build my business, etc. And he said, you know what? You're just like your mom. I'm not going to support you. Do whatever you want. I'm disconnecting from you. You're ashamed to me because people tell me that you have debt, etc. So can you imagine what happens in my mind when you want something and it feels like shit because of belief that you learned growing up, right? It's terrible. Or it feels terrible. So what I had to do at that moment is really take a pause and evaluate where that belief came from and the reality of that belief. Because number one thing that I made peace with was my debt and my need to be okay with my dad. So what I invite you to do with this is take a look at your money rules. Who did they came from? All the examples that we have been doing that now about what do you think is wrong? What do you think is right? What do you think is this? What do you condemn? What do you praise? What type of, all of those till this point, came from someone. And what we want to do with this exercise is take a look at where did that came from and which of these beliefs actually feel true to me and which ones don't. Because a lot of them we were not conscious when we decided to welcome into our belief system. For example, for me, it was the dead. And I felt absolutely unworthy of sharing what I wanted, of even speaking about wanting something, because again, that is the worst thing you can have. So what I have to do is take a look of all of the money beliefs that I have. This is homework for you guys. Write out all of the money beliefs that I have. This is bad, this is wrong, this is bad, this is wrong, this is never do this, always do that, and then check in with yourself and say, well, where does this came from? This came from dad, mom, father, this, that, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then check in with yourself and ask yourself, like, is this something that I want to conserve? Is this something that still I want to, hold on to? Yes. Okay, perfect. I can almost promise you there's going to be some things, if you really do this work with your heart in your hand and just, truly feeling through this with your heart, not your head, you're going to see that there's some beliefs that you have acquired unconsciously. They're not really you. And the way you're going to know that is because you're going to feel like fucking crap. For me, that was the debt example. It was like, well, why do I think that is so wrong? Because that's what my dad told me. Something is true, but because it comes from somebody that we love, that we, in one way or another respect and we want to make proud of, right? We take their word as the law, as the Bible. And that's not true. Okay? So this is the moment when you need to take a moment, and this is the moment where you need to take a moment, self-five, and really question these beliefs. Because what I came to realize, and what you will come to realize as well, is that there's nothing wrong with that. That means whatever you make it be. Okay? And if you have that, I especially want to share with you that is a way of the universe showing you how much you are loved and how supported you are, because I was able to be loaned X amount of money for me to live experiences that I needed to live at that moment without me having that money right there and then. So that's what I want you to have in consideration when it comes to this. Okay, guys? So yeah, money rules, where they came from, and are they real? Are they not real? And this is how you're gonna know. They are false beliefs if they make you feel wrong, if they make you feel bad, if they make you feel off. Because the truth is that your heart, like your entity as a spiritual being living in a human body, is meant for joy and expansion and impact. And all of that requires money. All of that requires, being able to create wealth so we can help more, so we can impact more, all of that stuff. And anytime that there's something that shrink us, not in the way of like necessarily like you're making less money or now you're losing money, but shrink your expression of yourself, it's going to feel off. That's why, for example, people that have a stable job and they're earning good money and then they want more money and they feel guilty. They feel guilty not because it's the wrong thing. They feel guilty because they think it should feel the way they've been taught, but they feel guilty because there's a mismatch with their higher self, because their higher self actually knows that's bullshit, right? It's like, just think about it. Anytime that you feel like you're not good enough, does it feel good or does it feel bad? Of course it feels bad. Of course it feels, it just feels super shitty, right? So what I want you to know with that is, if it feels shitty, it's false. And that's the way that you know, okay? So check in with yourself, guys, because this is so, 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 so powerful. Okay. Another way for us to examine our current beliefs when it comes to money is checking out what triggers you, okay? So the first thing I want to say about this is that triggers are here to help us heal and help us go to the next level as persons, as coaches, as human beings, okay? Why? Because when we have a trigger, and by the way, maybe at this point you don't know what a trigger is, so I'm just going to take a minute and share with you. A trigger is anything that makes me feel off. Anything that I see in another person or in a situation that makes me feel off. Like it's like spark that like lights the off feeling. But I give you an example. Maybe you see a rich person and you see them with all this fancy bags or, you know, this high brand things or whatever. And when you see them, the first thing you say is like, oh, so stupid to waste so much money on all this, you know, bracelets or whatever, right? Brand bags or purses or whatever, right? That's a trigger. And what we're here to do is that when you look at that trigger, it's reflecting something back at you. And that is where I mean triggers are here to help us heal. So I want to be a rich person, and I actually think that rich people are stupid for spending their money in brand name things. Do you think it's going to be easy for me to get there? No, because I'm right away rejecting the idea because I assume that being rich involves being stupid. By my definition of being stupid means spending money on high-end things. So when we have a trigger, it's time to look in, and this is what I recommend. But why? Okay, I'm just going to keep on with the same example. Really good example. You're walking down the street, you see this beautiful person, you know they have money because you can just see how they're dressed and the way they whatever. And you say, oh my gosh, it's so stupid for them to spend all this money on this Chanel and Fendi and whatever. Okay, this is what I want you to go. I want you to go 10 levels deep of but why. So it's so stupid to spend this money on this brand name. But why? Well, because this money could be better in other way. Like, I could use this money better. But why? Because you don't really need that, right? You don't really need to spend all that money on a Chanel bag. But why? Because it's just smarter to save money. But why? Because if I don't need it, then the most important things are really the ones that I do need. Bills, responsibilities, expenses. Those are the ones that should matter. Those are the ones that I should pay. Like, I should focus on everything else. But why? Well, that's what my dad told me. Okay, but why? I don't know, maybe that's what he learned when he was growing up. And that's why we struggled so much growing up and we were never allowed to have brand name things because we had to be smart and focus on the most important things: expenses, bills, responsibilities. Do you see where I'm going with this? Every single trigger that we have, let's go back and say, but why, and go 10 levels deep. But why? And you're going to come to a point where you're able to really look at the root of what's going on, okay? So my homework for you is go on social media, go on your day this week, okay? And make a list of things that trigger you. Maybe you see a coach out there and she's celebrating her first 10K cash month and she has been in business the same amount as you and she's the same industry and she's the same age and you're just so fucking triggered because you're like, why can't that happen for me? I'm just going to go ahead and give you this example because it's also so good. Amanda, making this up. No, Isabel. Isabel just celebrated her first 10K cash month. Again, same situations as you. And you're so triggered and you're like, but why can't that happen for me? I'm so mad. Why can't that happen for me? But why? Because if she did it, I should be able to do it as well. But why? Well, if it's happening for her, it's not happening for me, it means that there's something wrong with me. But why? To be honest, I just think that there's something about my coaching that might not be good enough, and that's why it's not selling. But why? Because maybe I am not good enough as a coach, and that's why my shit's not working out. But why? I don't know. Maybe the people around me always keep telling me that my coaching business is a joke. And I find it hard to actually believe in myself. So it's not about her getting a 10K cash month. It's about you coming down to truly believing in yourself. You see what we're doing here? Take your time to do this. Again, you're going to have this on the PDF, But for sure, like, take this week and write down every single trigger that you have, because believe me, triggers are here to help us heal. And the faster we make peace with the things that trigger us, the faster you're going to make more money, because you're going to be so much more open to it. There's going to be no resistance, and there's going to be no labels around it. I mean, seeing a rich person with buying all her bags, instead of thinking, oh, how stupid, you're going to think, oh, how good for them. And what you're unconsciously going to be doing is that you're going to be welcoming that experience for your own self, because who wants to label themselves as stupid? Nobody. So if in one way being rich implies that I'm stupid, I just don't want it unconsciously, which is 85% of our brain, and consciously as well, of course, but our unconscious mind is so powerful. So we need to change those labels, of course. Perfect. So give me 1 minute. Okay. So now that we have analyzed our past, our present, we are, when it comes to money, we're going to analyze our future. And what I mean with analyze our future is, I really do believe in everything that I'm sharing with you guys. A single fact that you can see yourself getting more clients, or your first clients, or your next 10K cash month. Like, the only reason you can see that is because it's available for you. I don't believe there's something out there, God, universe, that will give you something that you're not meant to have. That's just me. That's just like showing a kid a candy and then taking it away and saying, nope, you just don't get to have it. But here you go. Now have that craving for the rest of your life. I don't believe that's available for us. So with that in mind, I want you to take a minute and ask yourself, like, if money was a person, how would my relationship be? What would money have to say about me? Like, if we were interviewed, like, what would I say about my partner being the money, and what would my partner say about me? Because a lot of the times, and I think we've all been here at some point, money has always been there to try to support us, but we've been like, no, I have to work for it. I have to break my back, right? I have to earn it. I have to and do before you can serve me. Okay? So if we take a look at this, it's like if you have a partner and your partner is all about pleasing you, and you're so fucking in your head, like you're so in your head, and you're like, no. You don't get to please me before I prove myself that I am working hard enough to deserve this. Like, motherfucker, we don't have to do anything. We're already deserving. It is our birthright. Okay? What we have to do, and our main job, is to wake the fuck up and realize how damn worthy we are, and that it is our birthright to get paid to do this job. But we need to own that, okay? That is the key difference. If we don't own it, it's just a matter of time till you go back to the same belief. So if money were a person, what would they have to say about you? Do you push money away? Do you not care about money? Are you just like reckless? Are you unable to receive? Like, if someone, if money comes in, whatever, I don't care, a tax refund or whatever, someone pays you or they give you something, like, how do you feel? Do you feel unworthy of it? Do you feel a little bit guilty of receiving that money? Do you feel like you just immediately donate it because you didn't earn that money, so that money not yours? Like, how do you feel around that? And what would money have to say around you? Because this is what I mean. You are in a relationship with money. And from now on, what I invite you to do is realize, like, if this was a person, money would have probably broken up with you a really long time ago. However, money is a sacred resource. Money is here to serve us. Money is here to serve our purpose. And that is why we need to take a moment and really evaluate, how are your relationship with money going to be from now on? Like, are you just going to start being more grateful? Are you just going to start being more and more and more and more aware? Or are you just going to keep being the same way? Of course not. You paid for this course. Of course not. You're not going to be the same way. Of course not, right? So here's the thing. Take a moment, look at your current relationship with money, and this is where it gets fun. This is where we start setting up everything for the future. We are going to set up how your new story with money is going to be, how your new relationship with money is going to look like. Meaning, let's start with the part of where we started. Meaning, what do I now think is good? What do I now think is wrong? Who do I admire? Whose financial behavior do I admire? How does my relationship with money look like? What does money have to say about me? Okay. And I want you to get really, really in detail with this. I want you to literally, when you do this part of the homework, like lock yourself in, put some music on, like absolutely block your calendar, like write this out. Like, how does my life look like thanks to my relationship with money now? Like, where do I get to travel and where? Am I flying first class? Am I flying economy? Am I taking my mom with me? Am I able to pay my parents' mortgage? Am I able to buy my dad that farm that he wanted? How much do I get to donate? Which causes do I get to help? What things am I able to do? Who am I able to sponsor? How do I build my business? Do I get to have a team? Like, how does your life look like? And like, go all in. All in. Maybe you want to get manicures every single week just because it makes you feel so fucking good. Write it down. Like, the more specific, the better. I want you to get so juicy with this. Like, what are those things that you would do right now if you had that money? Because here's what I want you to know. We need to get in that energy of the things that we want so we can be able to bring them in. And we're going to be talking about this on the next module. But I want you to have fun with this. Like, literally write it down. Like, do you have so much money that your husband or your partner is able to quit his job to start a new company with you or to support you with your own company? Are you able to travel the world? Are you able to house it? Are you able to have a third house in the Swiss Alps? What is it? What is it that you want? It doesn't matter. And by the way, these things that I want, I understand they're very much like, a lot of people want these things, but a lot of people are rich and they don't want that. Maybe what they want is they have a 6-figure savings account. Maybe they have investments. Maybe they're able to help their local communities and build churches. I don't know, and I don't care. What's important is for you to get so clear. What is it that you want to do when you are a rich coach? When you are a rich person? So when you write those things out, what I want you to acknowledge is that that version of you, that rich version of you, already exists. And what we're doing through this course is just bringing that person down to earth, 111%. Okay? So rewrite it. I want you. This is the most important part of all the homework that I've shared with you guys today, because we need to lock it in, okay? And then the next part of the homework, which is so important as well, is I need you to go ahead and write a forgiveness letter to yourself. Meaning, throughout your life, all the times that you believed or not believed, these beliefs that we've been sharing of what is wrong, what is right, and things that made us feel wrong or unworthy or guilty or shameful of wanting certain things, like, just go ahead and write yourself a letter. And I would literally go around something like this. Dear Maki, I just want you to know that those beliefs that you had, we're releasing them. Unconsciously or consciously, at some point, we decided they were true. They were not. They were just someone else's model story of the world. And that's okay. And I want to ask for your forgiveness, because at times we really believe that was true. We really believe it was necessary to hustle or to sacrifice to make this happen. And I want to ask for your forgiveness in that. And I'm also releasing that. We're burning that. We are welcoming this new chapter with this new relationship with money, which is all that you have already written out. But just close that chapter, or I don't want to say close, but just like that chapter needs to be honored the right way. And the right way is saying, hey, there was actually never nothing wrong with you. There was actually never nothing wrong with your desires. You wanting to have this, that, whatever. And I forgive you, and I ask for your forgiveness for that. And the other letter that we want to write is the person who you acquired the most beliefs from. You know, for example, from all I've told you, that person would be my dad, right? That letter, this is for you. None of this do you have to share with anyone, with none of the recipients, right? And this letter is just releasing those beliefs and thanking them, because in one way or another, all these beliefs that we had, my dad telling me, oh, if you have more debt, you're a criminal, whatever. In his world, that was him trying to protect me. That was him trying to take care of his baby girl. That was him trying to say, I love you. I don't want you to get hurt. Please don't get in debt because I don't want you to be rejected or whatever. You know what I mean? So what I want us to do is to write this letter and thank this person for all of their efforts of sharing the best they knew with us. Because at the end of the day, people do the best with what they knew. And if they knew better, they would do better, right? So, and then we're going to release them. We're going to say, thank you. I know you tried. I know you shared with me all of these beliefs, but I have come to a place where I can look at these beliefs and realize that you were trying your best. So grateful for that. But I have this whole new beliefs that this is the real me. So I'm just gonna release all of this and bless it out. I'm just gonna release it, and I just want to thank you, because I know that behind it all, it's so much love. I love you. I respect you, and I respect your beliefs. And it just feels so good to know that there was nothing wrong with me. It was just your beliefs projected on me. So thank you. Because thanks to doing this work, now I have found my own beliefs. Okay. So what we're going to do with this, I invite you guys to burn it, to do a little ceremony, if this is something that you'd like to do. Because truly, if you think about it, you're cutting cords. You're cutting cords, and you are setting a new tone for the whole story. You're actually validating the fact that, hey, my way actually gets to work. That's interesting. There was actually nothing wrong with me. And for a lot of us, it's taking us years to be able to handle our self-worth and what we really deserve and what we're really whatever, right? So guys, take full advantage of this. Now, we have looked at our past, look at our present, look at our future. And now we have to build a way for us to maintain this. The way we do this is every single day, taking daily action towards this feeling. Okay, feeling of I am a motherfucking rich coach, and it just gets to work for me because I'm so worthy. Like, how could it not work for me, right? This is the level that I want you guys to hop on with, because honestly, this is it. If you are open to the possibility that it gets to work for you because you're still worthy and every single desire is meant to be fulfilled, then you know how little time it's going to take you to become a rich coach? No time. So I invite you guys to stay open. So what we want to do is I want to ask you guys, what tangible actions can I take every single day to make sure that I feel this way? Of course, we're human. Of course, we're going to have ups and downs. But you know what I mean with this, right? We want to make sure that we're consciously choosing to feel like a rich coach, right? And this is where it has to come in. Maybe you say, well, I would love to journal a little bit or do visualization or do tapping, which I'm going to teach you in the upcoming modules. Or, you know, I want to, you know, play with my crystals or just like, you know, close my eyes, listen to music and envision all of those things. I don't care what you do, but do it, okay? One thing I want to share with you guys here is make it easy for you to win. Meaning, many times you could do all of this. You could do the mindset, you could do the tapping, you could do the journaling, you can listen to audios, you can do the tarot cards, every single thing. But it takes time, right? So if you're like me, many times it feels better not to do anything because you know better than half-assing it, better not do it. So if I can't do it perfect, I'd rather just not do it. So that's just bullshit. We're sabotaging yourself. So let's choose something that we can actually make sure we win. You don't need to journal for 30 minutes every single day or 3 hours. You don't need to tap for 10 minutes. You don't need to envision every single thing. Make sure you win. You make your own rules. So, well, feeling this way, will that take me 1 minute? Okay, good. I'm busy. I'm running a business. I'm doing all this stuff. What do I need? Make your own rules about how can you feel this way every single day. So guys, this has been module number 1. I've had so much fun creating this for you guys. And honestly, guys, do this work and you will see your life change before your very eyes. So I will see you on module number 2 and can't wait to see your homework.